we shall speak a little bit about Sugama today after a 1 week gap. Om. So the Purva Pakshi was telling that Atrabhidiyate Naishasa, that Atma Ekatve Sandeha. The doubt is, the objection is Atma Ekatva. Purva Pakshi says, first thing is Atma Ekatvam. That means Atma becoming non-dual. All the Atmas are one, and Jagat is also inseparable from that one Atma called by another name Brahma. Okay, so this Atma, non-dual Atma, doesn't exist. One argument is non-dual Atma doesn't exist, or in other words, no Jnanam is possible. Purva Pakshi says, Upanishads do not teach, cannot teach. Three things are there. Upanishads do not teach. Upanishads cannot teach. Okay? Upanishads cannot teach, do not teach, and even if they teach, such a jnanam doesn't arise. It is impossible to get such a knowledge. Okay? It is impossible. See, 3 steps. One is Upanishads do not teach. Second, ಇವತ್ತು ಎಂಬಾರ ಇರೋದು ಬುಧವಾರಂ ಕರೆಕ್ಟೇ ಸುಗಮ ಹೌದು. ಮಧ್ಯ ಮಧ್ಯ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷು ಕನ್ನಡ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳೋದಂದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲೋ ಹೋಗಿಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಐ ಶಾಲ್ ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂ ಇನ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ. ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ನಲ್ಲೇ ಹೇಳಿಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಈಗ ಅದು ಕನ್ನಡ ಅದು ಹೇಳುವುದಂದರೆ ಮಧ್ಯ ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವಾಗ ಒಂದೆರಡು ಸಲ ಹೇಳಬಹುದೇ ಹೊರತು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಹೋದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲೋ ಹೋಗಿಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ, ವಿಷಯ ಮುಂದುವರಿಯಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಪೂರ್ವಪಕ್ಷಿ, ರಾಮಾನುಜ ಪೂರ್ವಪಕ್ಷಿ ಅವರೇನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ, ಉಪನಿಷತ್ತು ಆತ್ಮ ಏಕತ್ವವನ್ನು ಹೇಳುವುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಹೇಳಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗುವುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಹೇಳಿದರೂ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಉಂಟಾಗುವುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಜ್ಞಾನವೆಂದಂತೆ ಯಾವುದೋ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ್ದರೂ ಅದು ಬಾಧಿತವಾಗುತ್ತದೆ, ಅದು ಮೆಚ್ಚನೆ ಆಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಇದು 4 ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್. ಫಸ್ಟ್, ಉಪನಿಷತ್ಸ್ ಡು ನಾಟ್ ಟೀಚ್ ಏಕತ್ವಂ, ಡು ನಾಟ್ ಟೀಚ್ ನಾನ್-ಡ್ಯುಯಾಲಿಟಿ. ದೇ ಕೆನ್ನಾಟ್ ಟೀಚ್. ಈವನ್ ಇಫ್ ದೇ ಟೀಚ್, ದ ಜ್ಞಾನಂ ಡಸಂಟ್ ಅರೈಸ್. Even if it arises, that is only a conception, that is only a false thought which can be negated also. See, these are the 4 arguments. Have you ever heard? Swamiji's thinking is amazing, nowhere you will find these things. ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿ ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು ಈ 4 ವಿಷಯಗಳು. ಉಪನಿಷತ್ತು ಅದ್ವೈತವನ್ನು ಹೇಳಲ್ಲ, ಹೇಳುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಇಟ್ ಕೆನ್ ನಾಟ್ ಟೀಚ್. ಈವನ್ ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್, ಜ್ಞಾನಂ ಡಸಂಟ್ ಅರೈಸ್. ಹೇಳಿದ್ದರೂ ಅದು ಅನುಭವದಲ್ಲಿ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಉಂಟಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಜ್ಞಾನ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ್ದರೂ ಅದು ಭ್ರಾಂತಿ ಆಗುತ್ತದೆ, ಅದು ಜ್ಞಾನವಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಮಿಥ್ಯೆಯೇ ಆಗುತ್ತದೆ, ಅದು ಬಿದ್ದು ಹೋಗುತ್ತದೆ, ಬಾಧಿತವಾಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಅದು ಜ್ಞಾನವಾಗಿ ನಿಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ. ಇದು 4 ಯುಕ್ತಿಗಳು. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಾಮೀಜಿ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಬೀನ್ ಆನ್ಸರಿಂಗ್ ದೀಸ್ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್ಸ್. ಶುಡ್ ಐ ಸ್ಪೀಕ್ ಇನ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್? ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ದೆಮ್ ಆರ್ ವಿಸಿಬಲ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗಾಸ್. ಐ ಮೀನ್, they all understand Kannada only. But anyway, we are continuing in English. Sugama, we shall continue. After completing Sugama, we'll think of whether to continue in English or shift to some Sanskrit or Kannada. Okay. So the question is, it cannot teach, because every shabda, every pramana, all these arguments are over. I am just repeating 1 or 2 sentences. Every pramana reveals savishesha only. Savishesha means Brahman with qualities, with attributes alone. It cannot teach attributeless, nirvishesha, nirguna Brahma, advitiya Brahma cannot be taught. Upanishad doesn't teach. It can't teach. Even if it teaches, Jnanam doesn't take place. Even if it takes place, that is not Jnanam, that is only Brahma. So this point he says, even if it teaches Nachasti Shastra Jnana Badakam, he says, even if such a Jnanam arises, that I am Brahman. That is only a false knowledge. ಅಹಂ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಎಂದು ಜ್ಞಾನ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ್ದರೂ ಅದು ಭ್ರಾಂತಿ ಆಗುವುದರಿಂದ ಅದು ಬಾಧಿತವಾಗುತ್ತದೆ ಎಂದು ಪೂರ್ವಪಕ್ಷಿ ಹೇಳುವ ಪದ್ಧತಿ ನೋಡಿ. ಅದು ಆಗುತ್ತದೆ. ಹೇಗೆ ಸಿದ್ಧಾಂತಿ ಸೇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಉಪನಿಷದ್ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಎ ಫೈನಲಿ ಆಸ್ ಅಹಂ ಬ್ರಹ್ಮಾಸ್ಮಿ, ಇಟ್ ಸ್ಟೇಸ್. ಒಂದು ಸಲ ನಾನು ಬ್ರಹ್ಮ ಎಂದು ಜ್ಞಾನ ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ್ದರೆ ಆ ಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನು ದಾಟುವಕ್ಕೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದಿಲ್ಲ. ಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನು ತಪ್ಪೆಂದು ಹೇಳುವುದಕ್ಕಾದರೂ ಅದನ್ನು ದಾಟುವುದಕ್ಕಾದರೂ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ದಾರಿಯಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದು ಹುಟ್ಟಿದ್ದರೆ ಅದೇ ಅಂತಿಮ ತೀರ್ಮಾನ. that the jnanam that I am Brahman is a final knowledge. You can't improve it, you can't change it, you can't negate it, and you can't transcend it because there is no step higher than it. You can't transcend it because there is no step higher than it. You can't negate it because there is nothing to negate. See, there is nothing to negate. And you can't improve it also. Because there is nothing other than Advitiyam. Once it is non-dual, what is there to improve? Can there be Advitiyam and then super Advitiyam? There is no super Advaita. There is only Advaita is Advaita. You can't have a super Advaita. Super means ಮೇಲಿನ Advaita. Advaita is Advaita. There is no super ಅಂದರೆ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಟ್ಟದ ಎಂದರ್ಥ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಮೇಲೆ ಮಟ್ಟದ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ. There is only one Advaita. There is no super Advaita, over Advaita, and all that is only a words. All that only words, they do not mean anything. If once you say Advaita, then everything is over. That's a final. Now, Purvapakshi says, it could be possibly negated. These are all wild imagination. This is what we were discussing in our previous class. Last week did not hold the class due to some same thing. I was only working on Sugama. Sugama I have translated 12 years ago. And the DTP was done 11 years ago. It was ready. Due to some reason, it could not be printed. Some reasons beyond our control. So it was lying for so many years. Now the time has come. Therefore, they asked me now in the last 10 or 15 days, I have been busy editing it. Now I have finished it. Today I shall hand over. Today I will submit to them. Within 15 days, the Sugama translation will come out. Will come out, I think, by Swamiji's Aradhana day. Swamiji's Aradhana may be 15th of June, it will be released. So the book will come out. So that's why I cancelled in the last, because I was busy. I had to finish, meet the deadline. So ಇದು ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಆಗಬೇಕಿತ್ತು ಸುಗಮ. ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾನು ರಜಾ ತಗೊಂಡು ಅದು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ನಿನ್ನೆ ರಾತ್ರಿ ಮುಗಿಸಿಬಿಟ್ಟೆ. ಅದೀಗ ಇವತ್ತು ಕಳಿಸಿಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ. So Sugama translation, I was busy. Therefore, we didn't have a class in the last week. So Purvapakshi says here, but in the Sugama, I am doing only bare translation. Rarely 1 or 2 footnotes. I have not given this much of explanation which we are giving in our talks. I hope to do these explanations also we will add. Of course, there are many repetitions. Removing the repetitions. Repetition is required. It is a part of teaching while teaching. While listening, repetition is required. It must be done. That is a teaching. Brahma Sutra says, Shankaracharya says, repeated avritti rasakrudupadeshat. Repetition alone does the job. Repetition does the job. It really, repetition alone touches your heart and removes ignorance. Therefore, it must be done. So, in writing a book, the notes which I am talking, all these things are recorded anyway. So, we are trying to take the notes of it. Somebody is trying to do it as it is in the form of a book. Somebody is trying, some European is trying. They have sent me one first chapter they have sent me. Other chapters they are working on it. So, as it is. So that if we edit, we get everything. So all the points which I am discussing, many nuances, many detailed topics, detailed ideas, all those things will come in the second book if we go ever to publish it, because that will become very big book. Since I am discussing so many points, it is I think around 250 talks. 250 talks over so far. It will take another 10 talks, in another 10-15 talks. So 265 talks, if you publish in a book form, it will be 2 or 3 big volumes, 3 volumes. But anyway, it is a thorough book on Vedanta where everything is discussed. We'll try. Okay, so only bare translation will be there in this book that's going to be published. That will come in a 15 days. Okay. So here, this argument, Purvapakshi told that this Advaita, you say Vedantic Shravana produces Advitiya Jnanam. And he says, this Advitiya Jnanam that is produced is not Jnanam. Jnanam is something which can't be improved, which can't be negated further. What arises, because Jnanam is a knowledge about a fact. If it is a fact, the knowledge cannot be changed. It is not subject to change. Because fact is not subject to change, its understanding is also not subject to improvement, not subject to modification. But he says, Advaita, that Aham Brahmasmi knowledge is not a fact. It is only a false assumption. You are thinking, Purvapakshi is accusing Advaitin. You are thinking that Upanishad teaches you Aham Brahmasmi and a Jnanam rises. And you think that I have got the Jnanam. Even if you think it is a Jnanam, it is not Jnanam, it is only an assumption. See how Purvapakshi argues. It is only your assumption, your imagination. You are thinking that Aham Brahmasmi is only your assumption. It is only your imagination, it is not Jnanam. How? We ask, Advaitins ask, how do you say it is not Jnanam? Because if it were Jnanam, it would all the time stay, it cannot be negated further. What is a tentative understanding? What is an assumption? A misunderstanding, a superficial understanding, a tentative understanding will change on further examination. On further examination, that a superficial view, a tentative view gets corrected further, gets negated in an advanced view. Okay, therefore Aham Brahmasmi is not the true view, it gets negated. Who says? Purvapakshi. Advaiti asked, how? How can you negate? Show me how do you negate it. He gives an example. In that example, he is not showing how it is negated, theoretical possibility of its negation. See how he says? It is theoretically possible to negate. How? He gives an example. Here is a person suffering from cataract. He is suffering from cataract and he doesn't know that he is suffering from cataract. This I have discussed elaborately in the previous class. He is suffering from cataract, he doesn't know, he lives in somewhere remote place where he is away from the society, human society. Why away from the human society why we are telling why away from the human society? Because he lives in a remote forest, comes in a while, 1 or 2 hours or few hours, meet the people and goes away, lives in a cave or somewhere. Alone, lives all alone. So he cannot compare, there is no another person who can tell him that, hey, your eye is defective. If 2 people are watching the moon, if one person sees the moon and other person sees, generally they compare with each other, isn't it? How beautiful is the second moon also. Other person says, where is the second moon? Second moon, do you see? Do you see second moon? There is something is wrong. There is no second moon. There is only one moon. There is something is wrong with you. Come on, go and have a checkup. Go to a doctor, eye specialist and have a checkup. Something is wrong with your eyes. Okay. Either cataract or some defect. If not cataract, some eye defect. I saw one person. We had one brahmachari with us. He was not suffering from cataract. He was a young person, 38, 40 years old. 38, 40 years old, just a little elder to me in those days. A little elder to me. And he would say, I asked him, what is this thing? He says, when you read the book, he sees 2 lines. Any person, he sees 2 people. Any object, he sees 2 things. I said, do you mean? Yes, I am seeing something. Since how long? Right from childhood. So he doesn't. He is not suffering from cataract because he is only 40 years old. Cataract comes after 60. Okay, he was around 40. So no chance of his cataract. But he was suffering from some other disease. Anyway, whatever it is, leave it. We need not go into those unnecessary details. The necessary point in the illustration is that there is no chance for him to tell that his perception of the moon, second moon, is wrong. Either somebody deliberately tells him, either by during discussion or during comparison, when he compares with other people, or a doctor tells him, some manner he has to understand. Some manner he has to understand that his perception of the second moon is due to illusion and it is not a fact. Now this person remaining in a lonely place somewhere in a cave, there is nobody to tell him, either a doctor or another person to compare with. And he doesn't know that he is suffering from this disease, eye disease, eye defect. He doesn't know that he is suffering from an eye defect. And there is nobody to tell him because he is living all alone. And he happens to see that the moon is moons are two. And he has been seeing 2 moons. And it goes on continuously. Now tell me, is it mithya or not? His perception of the 2 moons, wrong perception? Is it a wrong perception or not? Definitely you would admit that he is wrong. But he doesn't know it. He may not know. So what? He may not know. He may not know. He may not have a way of knowing it. He may not know that he is wrong. He may not know that he is suffering from an eye disease, defect in his eyes. If not disease, at least congenital. He may be suffering from an eye defect, yet there is no way of knowing him. Now this much having stated, Purvapakshi says, now tell me, talking about this illustration, now tell me, since he doesn't have a way of correcting his eye defect, at least contradicting his eye defect with the help of another person having healthy eyes. Another person with his healthy eyes can tell him, hey, what is this you are seeing it? We all see 1 moon alone. How come you see 2 moons? There is something wrong with you. Then he will realize that, oh, if all others don't see 2 moons, oh, then I understand something is wrong with my eyes. That means your defect, once you realize, that is called falsification of your perception. He has falsified his perception by contrasting with others, by comparing with others. If nobody else is there and he doesn't know that he has an eye defect, and nobody else to compare with and correct him, or at least tell him, either a doctor or another healthy person, he thinks that alone is right. He remains in that wrong thinking. Now tell me, is his thinking wrong or not? But he doesn't know, doesn't matter. Even if you cannot negate it, even if you cannot contradict it, still it could be wrong. So what a foolish argument, you see. Purvapakshi, how he argues theoretically. It's a boring, more than boring, it is foolishness. Utter foolishness of people who argue like this. So, and let me continue. You will understand how foolish it is, you can see them. Since there is nobody to tell him that he has an eye defect, though theoretically it is possible to negate, possible to falsify, but practically he is unable to do. But theoretically there is a possibility that his understanding is wrong, his perception is wrong. Similarly, see, Purvapakshi is giving this illustration for what? To say that Aham Brahmasmi Advaita Jnanam you have. Advaita Jnanam you gain with the help of the Upanishads. Yes, I understand you gain it. But that Jnanam is possibility mithya. That Jnanam, theoretically, there is a theoretical possibility of Aham Brahmasmi being mithya. Purvapakshi, you see, there is a theoretical possibility of Aham Brahmasmi being mithya. You are stubbornly holding on, Purvapakshi implies, Swamiji has not stated it. I am extending that argument. Purvapakshi says there is a theoretical possibility of correcting his eye defect, falsifying his eye perception. Theoretical possibility, though it has not happened in case of that person, it might happen later in his old age that somebody gets married and he gets his wife and children. Then one of his child says, oh, one moon is beautiful. Then he starts comparing and then he understands, oh my God, lifelong I have been seeing 2 moons. Now I understand there is a defect in my eyes. So his perception gets negated at much later time due to somebody. That means at the moment, though it is not negated, there is a possibility, theoretical possibility of falsifying his perception. Okay. Similarly, he says, though Aham Brahmasmi is not falsified in case of you Advaitins are under illusion, there is a theoretical possibility of falsifying your Advaita thinking, and Dvaita alone is right. What an argument! Do you see? What a strange argument. There was one person, shall I tell you, in our college days, there was one of our roommate, very problematic fellow. And he comes and disturbs often. Then we got angry and then I shouted at him, see, what is this? You are not giving me freedom to read, you are just disturbing me continuously. Even if I tell you, you won't stop it. And you know what he says? In fact, you are disturbing me. I asked, how? You are making a noise and I am silently reading my book. It is your noise that disturbs me. How can you say my silence is disturbing you? Strange argument like that of this Purvapakshi. Strange argument. I asked him how. Even when I am angry, I use it to be logical. Even when I am angry, I always think logically. I never miss my logical thinking, reasonable thinking, even in an angry mood. Even if I am angry and shouting at him, he says, you are disturbing me. I asked him how? How? I challenged him, show me. Even in angry mood, I was logical. I wanted to understand. Not only logical, I was jignasu. I wanted to understand how. How, you tell me. How I am disturbing you, you tell me. I got angry. You tell me how I am disturbing you. I am angry, but still I was jignasu. I wanted to know. Tell me how I am disturbing you. You know what he says? His argument is strange. See, I want to speak and make noise. That is my freedom. And you being silent and you are expecting me not to make noise, therefore you are disturbing me. What a strange argument. By being silent, I am expecting him also not to shout, therefore I am disturbing him. I am preventing him from making noise. Preventing him making a noise and disturbing people. See, what an argument. These are all jihadi argument. Islamic argument is like this only. Very strange argument. They're terrorizing, they call it victims. Their terrorizing is called a self-defense. And we victims are called phobicante. The Muslim Hindus are terrorizing minorities in India. They are genocide. They are killing them, unable to live. Hindus hate Muslims. This is what they accuse us. Hindus hate. Hindus are persecuting. Obama talks of the same thing. Typical Obama. The same utter foolishness. Not foolishness. Foolishness combined with arrogance. He says, minorities, you should take care of them. You are torturing them there. What a strange thing. In Kashmir, in Kerala, all over only Muslims are getting tortured. Hindus are becoming aggressive. See how they talk. Very strange thing. That Bakri story, have you ever heard? A tiger and a goat both went there to drink water in a river. The tiger went first. No, not tiger. Goat went first. Goat started drinking water in the river. And the tiger went. Just after goat started, tiger went there. Tiger went to the upstream. tiger went to the upstream to drink water. As it started drinking water, it looked at this side. Oh, there is a goat. They asked it, hey, goat, what are you doing? Goat told, what am I doing? Tell me, you should tell me, what are you doing? That tiger shouted, aggressive tiger, jihadi tiger, shouted it, hey, what are you doing? He told, I am drinking water. Huh? Drinking water? Don't you know? Huh? Your angel is coming to me because you are drinking water and your tongue touches them, such water is coming to me. Then the goat asked, how come my water comes to you? The water which I have tasted comes to you because I am drinking downstream and you are drinking upstream. And the tiger gets angry and tells that, what is this? Not only you commit a mistake and you also start defending it. Tiger accuses it. Goat humbly talks it because goat is afraid that may jump on it and kill it. Goat or deer, whatever say. Let us say deer. Goat or deer. Goat says, have I committed the crime? What crime have I committed? I am only simply drinking water downstream. How can you accuse me of committing a crime? Then the tiger gets angry. If not you, your father committed, your grandfather committed, your great-grandfather must have committed that. If not you, your father committed, your grandfather committed, your great-grandfather must have committed the crime. That's why I am accusing you. What a logic. What a logic. This is a jihadi logic. This is jihadi logic. Obama logic. ಈಗ ಹೀಗಿರುತ್ತದೆ. Obama, recently have you ever heard? Obama's logic is like this. Terrible fellows. Why Obama, all the fellows talk like this only. Followers of jihadi founders talk like this only. Jihad founder, Jihad corporation, the members of Jihad corporation. Now see, tiger accuses it and show me what mistake I have committed. If not you, your father committed or your grandfather must have committed. You imagine the theoretical possibility and take it for granted that that possibility is confirmed, and then you accuse the person that you are a criminal. How aggressive you are. You are not allowing me to drink water and giving you your anjelu, your left out water. Your tasted water you are sending me. But the deer or a goat was drinking the downstream and this tiger was drinking the upstream. Similarly, Purvapakshi says, there is a theoretical possibility of seeing, double moon perception, 2 moon perception getting falsified. Though it is not falsified now, but there is a possibility of falsifying his perception of 2 moons. This is the illustration. Okay. Illustration is given for what? Therefore, that I am Brahman, Advitiya Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi Jnanam, which you think has taken place as a result of Vedantic Shravana. You think that Aham Brahmasmi knowledge has taken place as a result of Vedantic Shravana and Manana. And moreover you say that there is nothing to negate it, nothing to falsify it. This is the final knowledge. That Aham Brahmasmi is a final knowledge. No improvement, no correction, no transcending, no further knowledge. That is the final knowledge. Nothing can change it, nothing can improve it. All knowledges will be less than it. But no knowledge can contradict it. Okay. So Purvapakshi says, though you do not have anybody to correct your Aham Brahmasmi Jnanam, you find that once you get Aham Brahmasmi Jnanam, it remains uncorrected, unchecked, unfalsified, unsublated, it remains. Though you have not sublimated it now, the Aham Brahmasmi Jnanam, this is a very strange argument, remember, that's why I am repeating, it's a very strange argument. Though your knowledge of Aham Brahmasmi is not negated so far, there is a theoretical possibility of negating it. Theoretical possibility of negating it. Therefore, Advaita is wrong. Therefore, we have proven Advaita is wrong. What a proof, see? What a proof he brought in and proved Advaita is wrong. Do you see this argument? Therefore, we have proven Advaita is wrong. By showing theoretical possibility of Advaita being wrong. Falsity of Advaita. Your understanding of Advaita could be wrong based upon theoretical possibility of its negating it. Though in the illustration, though he did not find a person or a doctor who could tell him, declare him that you are suffering from eyesight, disease, eyesight defect, and what you see one moon is not there. I mean two moons is not there. There is only one moon. Therefore, this two-moon buddhi cannot be corrected. But it's so far not corrected, but there is a possibility of correction. Considering the possibility, you have to accept that it is not real knowledge. Based upon the theoretical possibility, you have to reject the actual experience. Existing experience should be rejected, and theoretical possibility should be accepted. What is this? Similarly, though you think that you gained jnanam of Aham Brahmasmi, but Aham Brahmasmi is an illusion, it can be corrected. How? Theoretical possibility of correcting it. This is what Purvapakshi said. Siddhanti says, na vaishamya. First thing is your illustration is a foolish illustration. Assuming that you have given us a good illustration, your illustration is totally dissimilar to Vedantic understanding. Because in the illustration, the situation is one way, but in the Darshtanta, in Advaita Jnanam, the condition is different. The conditions are too different. Therefore, the same argument applicable to the illustration doesn't apply to the Atma, because Atma is of different nature. How? What is the difference? When you say all are Brahman, then everything is one, isn't it? Therefore, how can you say that? Vaishamyam. Purvapakshi says the example doesn't fit in, because in the illustration, situation is different. In the actual Atma, situation is still different. What is it? Let us see. Vaishamyat yuktam mithyatvam mithyatva samshayo va yuktam tatra jnatritvasya anurutter dvaita jnanasya abaditatvacha dvitva jnanasya shankita mithyatvam mithyatva samshayo va. See, in the illustration, his perception of second moon could possibly be guessed, suspected, apprehended to be. It is possible to apprehend its falsity. It is possible to apprehend its possibility of falsity. Possibility of its fault. Apprehend. Possibility of possible falsity of possible falsity. You can apprehend the possible falsity of two moons. Perception of two moons. Okay? Perception of two moons could be wrong, theoretically wrong. In the illustration, it's okay. It's not a very good illustration. As I told you, it is a meaningless argument, but okay, tentatively accept, because let us not dispute with the illustration. Our point is Atma. Why unnecessarily argue with the illustration? Illustration can be taken in different aspects. Every object has got many aspects. Human being has different aspects. Every object in the world has got more than one aspect. So in every, the more than one aspect is possible. Therefore, you could suspect that something is. You need not compare and take all aspects of the illustration with the Atma. Then, if all the aspects are similar, then you can't call it illustration. You can't call it drishtanta. Drishtanta means certain parts it is similar, certain other parts it is not similar. It's different. Okay. Now here in the perception of two moon, there is a dvaitam. That is gnyatrugneya bheda is there. You are a gnata and the world is gneya. And the second moon is gneyam. See here, gnata is trying to perceive the moon. In the perception, there are many factors that could be disturbed, that could be intervene, that could obstruct, not disturb, obstruct, let us say. There are many factors. One is the object itself is far away, therefore possible that you have misunderstood it. Or your instrument of eyes might have committed the mistake. There could be defect in your eyes, there could be defect in the mind, there could be defect in many other areas. Therefore, that your perception of second moon at least could be suspected to be false, possibly false, could be apprehended to be possibly false. But here, such a possibility is not there. Even theoretical possibility is not there. This is what Siddhanti wants to say. There is not even a theoretical possibility of cancelling Advaita, negating Advaita. How? Advaita also could be negated. Advaita cannot be negated. That's what is Advaita. Advaita means what? You alone and there is nothing else. What do you see as something other than yourself? Okay. Therefore, yuktam tatra, in the illustration, there is a gnatru jnana bheda. Because the defect is possible either in the gneya or in the gnatru or in the instrument. Somewhere some defect is possible. Therefore, you could say that it could be wrong. It may not be true. But in case of Atma, there is no pramatrutvam. There is no pramatru defect is not interfering in the Atma Jnanam. There is no pramana defect. There is no defect of distance and all. Because Atma is non-dual. To know the non-dual Atma, you have to give up all these relations. All these relations are, all these conditions are wrong. Because there is a gnyatrutvam in the illustration, but in Advitiya Atma Jnanam, no gnatu. Gnatru, jnana, gneya, pramana, prameya, all this go away. That's what Advaita means. Advaita means there is no subject-object duality, there is no time, there is no place, there is no this and that. When all these things don't exist, then that is Atma. That is non-dual Atma. Therefore, there is no chance of doubting that Aham Brahmasmi Jnanam. Once you gain that Aham Brahmasmi Jnanam, there is nothing to dismiss it, negate it, improve it, correct it. Because Advaita means by negating everything you become non-dual. After negating everything, if you ask me to take help of the same negated thing and question it, this becomes ridiculous. Okay. Therefore, Jnatrutvasya anivrittehe, in the example, in the illustration you have given, Jnatrutvam remains. Okay. Dvaita remains. So, abaditatvat chandradvitva jnanasya. Therefore, perceiving the two moons, perceiving the two things itself is due to a defect in my eyes. So here, in Advaita, there is no chance of even theoretical possibility, seeing a theoretical possibility of Advaita Mithyatvam. Why? Because there is nothing. No subject, no object, no duality, nothing. When there is no subject, object, duality, no known duality, how can you think of negating it? Can you negate the Akasha, space? You can't negate it. Similarly here, Advitiya Brahman is Advitiyam. There is nothing to negate it. Therefore, this gets proven to be fact. That's all Siddhanta replies. Okay. Iha punaha shastrena jnatutvasyaiva napopanoda. Here in Vedanta, there in the illustration, jnatru jnaya, subject object duality is there. But here Vedantic Jnanam, as it rises, it dismisses the time, place, condition and everything. Advitiya Anubhava, there is nothing other than it. Therefore, there is no question, there is no imagination of negating Advitiya. How they argue, see, abba, bhayankar argument. Shastrena jnatrutvasya anapapanodanaat pramana prameya vyavaharasya apavade sati. And there is no pramana prameya vyavahara. And there is no mind to think. Yuktam tatra jnatrutvasya anuvrittehe dvaitagyanasya abaditatvat chandraditva jnanasya sankhitatvam mithya pratyaya samshayo va iha punaha shastrena jnatrutvasya apanodanaat pramana prameya vyavaharasya apavadehe. So all the pramana prameya vyavahara ceases to be pramana. On knowing Brahman, sarvatas samprutodaka sthaniyam. Knowing Brahman, everything is already in oneself. You don't have to look for elsewhere. Look for it, you don't have to look elsewhere for it. Kachit shanka shakyate kalpayitumiti. Therefore, nobody can imagine any other doubts in this respect. Ilyappa. Shankya kalpayitum. Okay. Yadi vakshati. The same thing Bhagavan Bhashyakara Shankaracharya is going to say. Satihanyasmin avashishyamane arte akanksha syat. If there is a second vastu, then all the doubts arise. When there is nothing second, I alone remain, where is the doubt? No question, no answer. You are already free. Therefore, Shastrasya avidya no ashankyate. The second point. Shishamano arthostina ya akankshyata. Therefore, if there was a second thing, then all the kinds of questions come. What is it? How am I related? Whether it really is there or not? And all the questions come. Okay. Similarly here also, if the Dvaitam was there, then it gives room for all doubts. When there is no Advaitam, when there is no Dvaitam at all Dvaita is negated, then what remains is unnegatable final truth. Then what can you do? You can't change your understanding because that's the truth. Okay, this paragraph is over. I think I'm also tired because night I had a little sleepless. I had to work. And now another argument is there. This is also very interesting. We shall tell you in the next class. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat.